Tonight, my guests this evening are Abraham Amaliba. He's a member of the NDC legal team, and Emmanuel Asiguri. He's a member of the NPP communications team. It's good to have you for the first time on the show. Hopefully you become a regular.
Well, I hope so.
We'll see how it goes. Mr. Amaliba, it's good to see you.
Yes,
How have you been?
Ima happens to be a childhood friend.
Really?
And,
you either meet your cousin here, your brothers, and now you're meeting your childhood friends.
My childhood friend, and he also happens to be a former DCE under the Kufuor administration.
Ah, right. So he's been in there for a long time.
Yes.
Nice. We'll have a nice show. Okay, you're both welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so tonight I want us to look at the resumption of the Accounting to the People tour. We all know what happened, the president losing his mum. She's resting in perfect peace, and now he's resuming, and definitely in the Greater Accra region. Tonight we want to know from you, I'm sure you've been monitoring since he started the Accounting to the People tour. He's been to several regions. He's been to the Eastern region. For me, that was actually the biggest after seeing all the crowds that followed him wherever he went. What have you made so far of that tour?
Well, thank you. Let me say good evening to viewers of this program. And having said that, indicate that we are looking at what the president has done over the period, which he has decided to dub it as accounting to the people, right? For me, I think that there's a lot the president would have to tell Ghanaians. Even though looking at what he has already done, he's touted his government and its performance. Just taking into consideration this evening what happened here, it is one of the issues that, you know, have bothered Ghanaians for the last 4 years. I mean, I know you were shying away from that, but me sitting here, I would say it. You know,
I won't gag you.
Well, I know. We've had to go through this situation where we are starting this program late because of Dumso. You know. And I don't know what the president is saying with regards to the electricity situation. It is a thing that is really, you know, hitting the Ghanaian public. And I'm wondering, because the promises from him, if my mind would recall, for me, I've lost count of how many times he's promised. You know, that is he as the president. If you take his ministers who are in charge of this particular sector, you know, as for their promises, as for that one, I think if you match it with some granules tied together, you would not be able to count, you know. So I'm wondering what is going on, you know. Well, he's accounting to the people. And I hope that it should have been done in a form where people can get to ask him questions. Because as it is, the state of hopelessness and, you know, despair is just too much.
So you thought that it should have been in a form of fora wherever he has visited, so that the people would have an interaction with him?
Well, for me, I'm not the one to...
because if you say they should ask him questions...
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it with regards to what we are faced with, you know, which has become a daily occurrence, you know, and it's become too difficult for people to, you know, make ends meet, you know. I mean, electricity is not a luxury. You know, it is not a luxury at all. If a nation would have to make an impact with regards to its economy, you cannot downplay what it is that electricity, you know, I mean, would do. And I'm not just zeroing into electricity, but I'm making it a focal point because of what it is that we were faced with here in GH1, you know, station. We've seen what he's put out there, and I want to say, Nanawa, these things, we've had it happen over the period with every government that has come. You know, sometimes I wonder, I mean, the way the NDC overblows some of these things. We've put up a sugar factory, we've done this, we've built this road, we've built these number of schools. And I keep asking myself, which particular government came into office and did not do any of these things? You know, if it is factories, we've had governments, immediate past governments have done these things.
So what are you expecting them to do?
I mean, well, it is something he has decided to do. I mean, you can't stop him from it. But I don't see it as anything new. You know, for me, what we should be looking at as a country, and he as our leader should, and you see, that is the part where I also see the propaganda that takes center stage, you know, in this government's, you know, way of doing things. As we speak, lots of things are not going on well with this country. Our economy is not on its right footing. Yet we hear people say some Bretton Woods institutions have released some documentation, I mean, some, what's it called, findings or whatever, and they are quoting figures here and there. When you and I know that the business community, you know, is struggling. This is a fact that we cannot run away from. But it is turned out to be like, you know, let's play politics with everything. And even where we are confronted with issues that are bringing this country down, we say, oh, let's let the political thing take a center stage. Okay. You know, for me, I think that he needs to redirect his focus, because he, as a president, in spite of all what his people say, over the period have come out to, you know, respond to some of these things in a manner where you wouldn't say he's been put on the, I mean, the issues have been put to him directly and then he's answering. For instance, he talks about the economy would see some improvement. We would see money trickle down. And these things are done, I mean, have been done through him at certain stages of his running of this country. Christmas or the New Year message, then you find such a message coming. Workers' Day, May Day celebration, then he's talking about these things. And it has gone on from the very day he became president. And I'm wondering when he's going to say, okay, we've gotten to that point. Because the reality is that we are not seeing any, you know, improvement with the situation. We are retrogressing. And then okay. I am hoping that members of this government would admit, and we all look at ways of, you know, putting things right to get our country moving. It is not something that is hitting just one part of the country or a group of people, a particular group of people in the country. It is affecting all of us. You know, in the business world or in the business situation in our country, it is not an area meant for a particular group of people who belong to a particular political party. So if things are not going on right, and we're talking about it, it is not because we want to just use that to run the government down. We are faced with challenges.
All right. He announced that in Medina, at the Medina market today, when he was interacting with market women, that from July 1, we'll be experiencing some major reliefs. You see? In electricity tariffs. Most consumers have been complaining. So would that be enough to say that he's a listening president? I mean, people have complained.
Well,
briefly before I go to...
Would I also be wrong if I ask that, is this coming from the back of what has happened at Teshinungwa today, where the people are up in arms, you know, crying just because of this situation we're talking about? You know, if the president would want to always respond when these things happen, like it is said that, I mean, doing a firefighting, I don't think we would make a headway. Okay. He's promised us, July 1st, or July is only a couple of days to come. I hope we would see some improvement. Because these promises, I tabled them even before you put this before me, that this has been the style of the president. At any given opportunity he gets, he talks about, we're going to see some improvement. Things are going to work out better. And yet, it is getting worse by the day. For me, I'm lost for, I mean, I don't have what it takes to describe what we're faced with now.
Okay.
You know.
Mr. Maleba.
Yes, let me say good evening to your viewers. The president had to cut short his Greater Accra tour following the demise of his mother. He's back, having successfully buried the mother. He's back. One would have thought that he would take some break, but for the love of the country, he's back doing what he was doing before the demise of the mother. Today, his tour took him to Medina. He went to Amasamai, and then I know he went to Nima. In all these places, he visited project sites. Dumso, as my brother was talking about, I'm sure maybe he wasn't around when the Dumso was debilitating. If he was around, he would know that there is improvement, and a vast one at that. For the benefit of his knowledge, we were sleeping 12 hours in darkness, and another 12 hours or even 6 hours of light.
I'm sure he would want to ask you, now who caused them?
Now who caused them? It was caused by people who took over this country and did not contribute 1 kilowatt to the national grid. So if today we have localized outages, as we saw it here, that is not Dumso.
So they didn't add any kilowatts?
They didn't. We did not see any Dumso. This is a localized
But when they
outage.
were leaving office, there was no Dumso.
I'm saying that this... No, but if you create a problem, it manifests in years to come. It doesn't manifest immediately.
Okay.
We know that every year we have to add on to our national grid. Tell me, how many did they add? So if we are faced with this, they should know that they have contributed to where we are today, and the president has even on his own accepted the responsibility and say he will fix it. And he's fixing it. We don't have Dumso again. What we have is, yes, what we have is localized outages, and that's not Dumso.
Semantics.
Dumso is when you lack generation. But as we speak, we are above 5% of our generation needs. We don't lack generation. Now, the president on his tour today went to Medina, met with the market women there, and indeed told them what he was going to do to the Medina market by upgrading it. He also talked about the fact that Medina needs a hospital, but because of the lack of space within the Medina township, the hospital has been sited at Atomic. But nonetheless, there is, as we speak now, and it is near completion, there is a polyclinic which has seen some expansion. And there is going to be a mini hospital at a park. It used to be a football park. It has been taken over, and they are building a mini hospital there. So Medina is going to have its fair share of projects as the president goes about. One critical thing he did for me, which, because I know about that situation, which started years back under the Kufuor administration, is the drainage system at Nima. That's when you start from Kaokudi and you end at the Gota at Mamobi. You notice that if you apply that rule, you notice that there's construction of that drainage system, because that drainage is a terrible one, and it goes a long way to affect the livelihoods of the people around there. That drainage is being fixed, and for me, that will go a long way to address the situation that the people in Nima are facing. So, yes, the tour is dubbed Changing Lives, Transforming Ghana, and the people can see some of these projects. These projects are not what Nana Akufo-Addo described as artistic impressions. That gutter there, which is being constructed, cannot be described as an artistic impression. These are real facts. You can see them, and these things will go a long way to improve upon the lives of the people. Take, for instance, within Medina and Dodua, there are several hospitals that are being constructed. This is the first time we are seeing these things.
They have personnel? Enough personnel?
No, you know, there are nurses who are looking for employment. And when the president indicated that he's going to provide jobs for people, all these nurses who would normally go to the Ministry of Health to, you know, picket.
The nurses who've been complaining.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We now have these facilities that would absorb them. That is a way of creating jobs, and that's a way of employing people. All these hospitals, from Dodua, the new hospital, throughout to the expansion of Medina Polyclinic, and then the new hospital even at Atomic Junction.
Is that ready?
The Atomic one is being constructed.
Okay.
You also have the Legon Hospital, which you know, which will be within, from now till September. I'm sure that one will also be commissioned. So all these people, all these nurses, the health attendants would all have a place in their in those hospitals to serve the people of this country. So I think that despite what the opposition is saying, the situation looks good today as I was driving in here, and that was what he was trying to poo-poo. I'm sure it's the same story or information he had. The UNTACT described Ghana as the 5th economy in Ghana that is attracting
in
foreign
Africa.
direct investment.
The fifth economy in Africa.
Yes, in Africa. That is attracting foreign direct investment. If things were not right, foreign direct investors will not be coming in here. And so, yes, we know sometimes we need power. We know sometimes we want to come to power. But let's acknowledge the little things. Before he left
How relevant is that information? How relevant is that information?
That information is relevant to the extent that these foreign direct investors will come in and set up institutions and jobs that will mop up some of the unemployed graduates.
But yet, people are complaining about hardship.
But
the cost of living is rising. Every day you're hearing these cries. So when UNCTAD says that we are the 5th economy in Africa to be receiving FDIs, it means that, we are receiving more than any other country.
It can be better. There hasn't been a time there hasn't been a time in this country that Ghanaians said it was okay and that they are not complaining. There's no regime.
But you promised us better Ghana agenda.
And I'm saying
so we don't expect it to be worse than it was.
It is not worse.
It isn't?
It isn't worse. It isn't worse. I've cited the infrastructure development. Before he left this country, Circle was not like this.
He's been away for a while.
No, for some time.
Where was he?
Oh, we've gone to Abrochire this morning. It doesn't matter. But before you left,
mind you, I've been out there, but I can tell that.
No, before you left, Circle was not like this.
On a daily
basis.
The
Circle wasn't like this.
It wasn't like this. I'm sure when he came, he must have lost his way. That's why a brother has driven him here.
Driven me here? Yeah. I drove to Circle to this place.
Right.
I drove myself.
So and he's just pulling your legs.
I myself, I know.
So, Nanaba, things are looking good. When the president said that in 2017, money will come into the pockets of Ghanaians, he meant that he had done the basic infrastructure things and that from there we'll take off. And that
take off from what to where?
We will take off from infrastructure
to
benefiting from the infrastructure, which is the hospitals we are building, the nurses will now be employed. So money will come into your pocket. The schools, the day schools, you will not pay school fees. The school fees that a parent will have paid will now remain in his pocket. So indeed, when he says
you're saving,
when he says that money will be in your pocket, he's not saying that he will line you up.
Is that free?
And then
we all didn't understand it that way. We didn't think that he was going to
you think that he will line you up.
No, we didn't think he was going to line us up.
No,
nobody thought that way.
The way I'm thinking.
Nobody thought he was going to line us up.
Exactly. So
no, you
what
were
he meant was
that
what he meant was that because of this infrastructure development and the things that we are doing, employment will come.
Okay.
People, parents who otherwise would have paid school fees will no longer pay school fees because of the community day schools. The money will now remain in your pocket.
Do we know how much we are going to save as a result of all of that?
Oh, Nanaba.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure, I'm just asking if you have any idea. Because if it's free SHS, 200 schools, we probably have some data or some figures on how much we are saving parents.
No, it depends on how many students or pupils will be in the school.
Okay.
So you cannot know offhand. How many parents will have those savings.
Okay.
But when the school absorbs these people,
then
we can now go and count them.
Okay, Mr. Maliba, I've heard you.
Yes.
Emmanuel.
Well, it's quite interesting. I mean, I don't expect my brother to say anything than what he said.
But do you reckon that they've invested massively in infrastructure?
You know what? They've borrowed massively, but not the investment we're seeing.
But
they've borrowed massively, and if we are to see the borrowing they've borrowed, match up with what we have seen in terms of what they say they have done in terms of infrastructure development in this country, then I think that we should have been way, way, way above where we are.
Okay.
Because they're doing roads, but we still have terrible roads. Terrible roads.
Well, and I'm not talking about some terrible roads. Yeah. Some they're being worked on. Some are receiving.
That's what I'm saying. They're doing roads, but we still have terrible roads. And I'm talking about borrowing massively. Now, coming back to the issues Amaliba has put out, it's quite interesting. My brother is he's trying to play a game, but I just want to caution him that don't go there. If you think that my absence in this country for some time has made me handicapped, you're wrong. Those who've been following my activities will tell you that on a daily basis I follow what is happening.
How long
in
have
this
you
country.
been away?
I've been away for a little over 2 years.
Okay.
And that is nothing at all, because these days technology puts
Of
you
course.
in a manner where you get to know if I don't even see. You're talking about we leaving office and then creating a problem with regards to the electricity situation. I'm wondering where that is coming in. Just a couple of months ago, I mean, the cat was let out of the bag. And Abraham, I wasn't in this country, but I was aware. I watched that video when that official from the West Africa Gas Pipeline Company indicated that government was owing, and for so many occasions where government had pleaded that they should continue to supply gas to get electricity supply in this country. And you are referring me to the peak of the problem. This was when the West Africa Gas Pipeline let the cat out of the bag. I don't see how MPP were the ones who created the problem for you guys. Sometimes let's be charitable a bit. I know it's politics we're doing, but let's not let people brand us as politicians. We do politics with everything. We are not honest people. At least let's put up some honesty in this regard. So it cannot be us. We did not create that problem, and that problem is still persistent as we speak today. I don't know if you're aware. You can
He
find out.
asked if you added a single.
Wait, I'm coming into that. I just want to let him know
Megawatt.
that I'm just letting him know that the issues that created the problem cannot be attributed to us. Today, as we speak, the company again has issued a notice that they're going to stop gas supply today, on this very day as we speak. They've indicated that they're going to cut gas supplies to Ghana. And I foresee us going back into that terrible situation where you're referring to.
Wishing that we go back.
We can. How would I wish that? My brother, look.
You have always wished that, your people, you
Me,
and your
the
people.
business I do is
We've
electricity
always
based.
wished that, but we won't go
Listen,
back.
the business, that's why I told you that if
won't
we
go
have
back.
that situation, it is not affecting just one spectrum of the Ghanaian public. The business I do is electricity based. When I heard this story, I was like, wow, how am I going to go? I brought in new things that I want to use in improving my business. And now, this is what we're faced with. Well, you talked about we not adding a kilowatt of power, which is not true. Listen, all the measures we put in place, as you're talking about expansion, we're growing and all that, all the measures that were put in place. When you guys came, but for Buidam, when you guys came, you came and then played games with it. The Pong situation, the one Zakem was doing, you guys came and then suspended it. Look, you had some individuals in your government or in your party who were authorizing, who were giving these directives. You know, and people, I mean, some of us were wondering what authority they had to go stopping some of these contracts, because they were looking for ways to really brand us as people who had gotten ourselves involved in some corrupt activities. And at the end of the day, not a single soul have been able to be proven to have been corrupt under the Kufuor administration. So if you guys created a problem, don't turn around and say MPP. We did not. Moving on, you are talking about, I mean, Nanaba referred to what's it called? These findings, like I talked about, and you were telling me that, oh, there is this one that came in yesterday, and probably that's what I didn't even know there's one that came in today.
Okay, so
and you say they're saying that Ghana is in the right place where investment was.
Fifth.
Yes. Fifth.
If I am a serious investor coming into this country and then I land at the airport, and where I have to go through immigration, no lights, and they have to use my phone torchlight. Not the immigration officer's
We have moved
phone.
beyond that.
No, I mean, I'm talking of something that just happened a couple of days ago.
A couple of days ago?
Yes.
I didn't know
a
this
couple
one.
of days ago, this happened at the Kotoka International Airport.
Well, but
I would not
even
listen,
Heathrow,
I would not even, I would
even
not,
let him finish.
Heathrow,
I
would
even
not even-
Heathrow at one time
Oh,
last year
no,
experienced
listen.
a power.
No, but we
power
have
failure.
these things happening.
They happen,
We
yeah.
have
So
these
if
things
Kotoka
happening.
goes off,
No,
it's not
listen,
such a big.
It is a big deal because Dumso, as we speak now, is a word, or is a phrase that is known to the outside world, meaning that we have electricity challenges in this country. Trust me. I mean, working with my
So
colleagues.
if you get to Kotoka International Airport and the lights are off for 5-10 minutes.
As a serious investor,
if
I would not
Dumso-
put my investment
so-
here. I would turn my investment
So
and
if
move to
Dumso
Rwanda.
is known the world
Listen,
all over,
I will move
does
to
it mean
Rwanda,
that
and this is what is happening
there's no
currently in
electricity
Africa.
Ghana? Is that what it means? If Dumso is known the world over, so Koscielny is known the world over. Does it mean that people
I
in
gave you the
Ghana are
opportunity.
suffering from
I gave you the
Koscielny?
opportunity. I don't know if you turn into the host. If you put questions to me, I'll
I'm
not
sorry,
follow.
I had to
I'm going to
break out
continue.
there.
I'm going to stay on track. So,
Are we all suffering from Koscielny? Because Koscielny is
Mr.
we
Member,
are.
please don't crack me up.
we are because
we are all suffering from Koscielny.
yes, because
And your stomach is fat.
our system is My stomach is what?
It's flat.
I've been doing a lot to keep my stomach flat. I've been doing a lot to keep it
That was
flat.
a good one.
Yes. So to make it look as if, everything is rosy in this country, and then these
no, we didn't say
institutions
that.
are coming out to tell us that, Ghana is in the right footing. Please, if we're talking about investment destinations, not Ghana. We know where these investors are going. Even people who have investment here, they've packed and moved to these countries that we all know.
Which one?
They've moved to Rwanda, they've moved to Cote d'Ivoire.
Who has moved? Who?
No, I don't want to sit here and mention, but
No, who? Give
you can't
me,
make
give me
statements
one
and run away.
company.
Listen, Sigma Gas don't produce gas cylinders in this country again. And if you want to know where they've gone to, I'll tell you where they
Where
are.
they
Sigma
are.
Gas have moved to Rwanda.
Okay.
They were just not too far from here. It's a walking distance from this place. So that's what I'm saying. I don't
I will
want to
check
stand mentioning.
Sigma Gas.
Please
I
do.
don't
Please
check
do.
Sigma
There are
Gas.
lots of them.
I will check Sigma Gas.
Beyond Sigma Gas, which I've just mentioned, there are lots of companies, there are lots of industries that have folded up. So please, let's not sit here and then
But you
make it
know
look
what?
as if I'm putting up something that has no facts. The facts are
Absolutely
there.
not.
But you know
Now
what?
Okay.
Now let me move on.
Let him end, Mr. Maleba.
If you're talking of a situation where, that's where you're probably bringing in Koshako. Ghanaians have never said that the situation is better. When she talked about where prices of goods are going up, even the common food stuff that we have to get to eat.
Under which regime are prices, the prices come down?
Amaleba, under our
And
regime.
your prices came down.
Under President J.
No.
When he reduced hunger in this country.
Reduce what hunger? He
Are you
reduced what
disputing
hunger?
that? Grew our economy from a 4 billion to a 44 billion, please.
And
These
how
are
come
things-
that you were selling Vodafone? To pay salaries?
To pay salaries?
Yes.
We sold Vodafone
Yes.
to pay. Today,
Ask-
you guys,
ask- ask-
listen,
ask-
Amalia, I'm surprised you're doing
Kwame
this.
Pieni.
Listen,
Ask
I'm surprised
Kwame Pieni.
today.
Ask Kwame
The president is
Ask Kwame Pieni.
Oh,
You sold
ask Kwame.
Ghana Telecom to pay
Are
salaries.
you going to allow me speak?
I'm giving you just one for you to understand.
Because we are not in a crossfire type of a situation, no. I
No,
mean,
but this is not a monologue.
well, the point I'm making is this: the president has praised the sale of Vodafone. Is that a fact or not?
No.
And he did this just
He
a couple
didn't
of
say-
days
no,
ago.
No, that's, you
He
are,
did
you are
this
twisting
he-
it.
oh,
Why he said
what are you talking about?
liberalization,
Listen, and it is
liberalization,
not only him, even
liberalization,
your party
One
leaders.
at a time.
liberalization,
One
not
at a
Vodafone.
time.
I mean, these things
One
are
at
not
a
as
time.
if you're making them up.
Liberalization.
I am not
One at a
making these
time.
things up.
Okay.
Liberalization.
I mean, the viewing public knows that the
I'm writing
President
it,
John Mahama has praised the
No,
sale of Vodafone.
no.
This has happened. It is not me sitting here and then putting words in.
Liberalization of the telecom
Members
sector
of
is
your
different
government,
from...
members of your party,
No.
your party leadership have
No.
praised
No,
the sale
no,
of
no.
Vodafone.
No.
So for you to sit here and tell me
No.
that Vodafone, if you want me to quote
No.
what the president said
No.
with regards to the sale of Vodafone, I will say it. When I talk about he praising the sale of Vodafone, I mean, I won't waste my time there because you are just sitting here and then making what you're, I mean, do you want your
Well,
notion
but
for?
when you say the word liberalization has nothing to do
No,
with
but you just let me go.
praising
Let me
the
continue
sale
to
of
sit
a
there.
company.
The president is talking about after the
Liberalization
sale
in
of
the telecom
after the
industry.
sale of Vodafone, where
no,
Vodafone has been
completely
able to
different.
expand its bottom.
Liberalization of the communication sector happened long before the sale of telecom.
Absolutely.
And it was under his regime.
Abraham,
That's why
I'm not one of those people. Let me
Oh,
go on.
no.
You know that
Okay.
you know that you can't succeed in what you're doing. So let me
All
go
right.
on. Yeah, I'm very
Well,
comfortable.
quickly,
you are
I need
twisting
to
the
take a
facts.
break.
No, oh,
You are
I thought
twisting
you
the
were going to
facts.
let me just wrap up. I'm wrapping up.
Yes,
I mean,
that's
I
also
just
quickly. Just land.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear
Yeah.
it quickly. Now you are talking about, Abraham, don't pretend you don't know what is happening in this country. Agric, your own statistics is putting out. Agric is on a nosedive. It is going deep down this way.
How is it going down?
I mean, Nanama,
0.4?
the point is this.
Today,
Nothing
as
is
we
working.
speak, Agric is going 3%. Almost 2.7.
Whose
Today.
statistic is this?
Oh, Ghana Statistical Service.
They
oh
said
my
that
God.
3%.
Yes,
Oh
you know,
my.
when the budget was read, it was negative. But
It's-
as we speak now,
Was it
is-
negative?
it is
It
in
was
this
actually
government-
not
it
negative.
is
it was
in this-
zero point.
0.4.
Yes,
I think.
but now
That's
we
not
have
negative.
we've gone to 2.7 as we speak. But their time, before they left office.
What was
it-
the how
Before
was
they
doing
left
better
office.
than
Before they-
2.7 when they left office?
No,
Was it?
when they left office, it was negative 1.7. Ask
You see,
their minority spokesperson.
It is not about
When
minority
he was
spokesperson.
when he
The
was
Ghanaian-
caught up
the
when he was
Ghanaian
caught up
public-
in a banter.
Listen.
What he said was that that year it didn't rain.
The Ghanaian public,
but we
the
here it
Ghanaian
is
public
raining.
have not come out to
Okay.
admit to the fact that what you are putting out there is factual.
Okay, so the agri sector is increasing.
The days of MPs going to Parliament with plantain to tell the Ghanaian public of how much it is on sale would happen, because that is what is happening currently as we speak. I'm just using plantain as an example. We don't even have it in the system.
What do you mean?
A lot of people
you don't know the
taken
plantain is seasonal? So why don't you say there's watermelon everywhere?
This man.
At the moment, there's watermelon everywhere. Why don't you praise it? This is the season of
Watermelon where?
watermelon. Just, where
watermelon
where
everywhere,
me and you
actually.
live, where me and you used to live, the junction there, there's watermelon.
Unfortunately, this is not. This is
Where
not,
me and you live.
This is not the season.
You
of
know where
watermelon.
we lived before?
Watermelon is grown in the place where I come from. Watermelon is grown
and
in Garu.
watermelon is lying
And
everywhere.
Garu, they don't
Let's
have
take a
they don't
break.
have watermelon.
Watermelon
there as
is
we
lying
speak now.
everywhere.
So watermelon is not in the season.
when the-
Watermelon
you
is
see?
in season. Watermelon is
Oh,
not.
watermelon is actually in season
Well,
now.
I don't know. I don't know.
Is this in season now?
He just came.
We're back. Okay, this is State of Affairs, and I'll just take some of the messages you've been sending to me tonight. Ketsi MTN, welcome to a new world. Bonti Benjamin says, there is no accounting without figures in this world except that of John Dramani Mahama. Kweku Frank says, well said. I'm not sure who you're saying the well said to. Brima says that Nanaba, the gentleman with you was my DCE, and I must tell you that he's the best we've ever had. Is that true, Mr. Maliba? Is he the best they ever had?
Oh, I wasn't under his regime, so.
But you monitored.
You
No,
were in this country.
I wasn't under his tutelage. I wasn't in his district, so I wouldn't know.
Okay.
This man, when we came on, I didn't say anything about him, but he introduced me as
No, I only know you.
as a growing up, you know.
Yes, but I
and
wasn't.
then now he doesn't want to
I
talk
don't know
about.
how you manage the district.
Oh, you don't?
Because I didn't stay in that district.
Okay.
How will I know?
That's okay. That's fine.
Okay.
How will I know? You are forcing me to say something that I don't know.
Okay. James Mensah says, Nanaba, if President Mahama had an all-inclusive government, I tell you that the gentleman there would have been part of it. He's that good. I don't know if you've asked your people to be tweeting,
No,
but
my people, I don't even know who, apart from the name that, made
I
the
know.
comment.
I'm just kidding. I
I
know.
know.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't mind me. Okay. And Nanaba, tell the NPP to get a campaign message and stop criticizing everything President Mahama
Message.
does.
They have a campaign message.
Don't say it.
One factory, every district.
Which is a good message.
no.
That's their
Maliba.
message. So
But
that-
this is a good
That's the
message.
message they say. Then when they bring it out, we'll copy. We are already putting up factories.
Haven't you
said
copied?
copy which one?
Haven't you copied any?
Which one?
You haven't copied
Which
any.
one?
just
They are
talked
not
about-
copying
you
our
just talked
commander.
about- you just talked
They've
about
now
free-
seen our commander, and sadly,
You just
every
talked about
district
free
one
HHS here.
free HHS.
You just talked about
It's
free
in the
HSS.
constitution,
No,
not yours.
Oh, really?
You don't know that?
Constitution of Ghana?
You don't know?
Okay.
Oh, I should have brought my
Oh, so
constitution.
no, it's in the constitution and it's workable, right?
Oh, why? We are,
it's
we, are,
workable.
we are implementing it
No, it's workable.
progressively free. You
Oh,
said
okay.
free.
Well, the
you
free
said that
public-
the free must come from heaven and fall on earth.
Oh, we
Fine.
said that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. We said
Okay.
it must be progressively
Today, you're
free.
not playing Dr. Mensa Otabu's voice again.
Oh.
To tell us that free things are what?
No.
Anyway,
It's progressively
well,
free.
Ghanaians are seeing you guys
Progressively
clearly.
free.
Okay. And Sasari says that Nanaba, I think the NDC and the NPP should give us all a break. We've seen both of them in power. They haven't done anything. It's about time we gave a new political party a chance. Well, there are so many political parties. So if you go to the polls on November 7, it is your right to vote for whoever you think would do better than the NDC and the NPP. Gilbert Nsoa says, it's good to see Emmanuel on your show. I miss him in Garu Timpani. When is he visiting? You're in Accra now? You're not going
No,
out?
I'm going home. I'll be going home in a couple of days.
Yeah? When did you return? And you haven't been
I've
home?
been subjected. Amaliba, you see?
No, what's this question to? How can my name come in?
No, you started this whole thing.
This question, harmless question, how does my
You
name?
started this whole thing.
Mr. Maliba is right. The New Patriotic Party will poo-poo everything the NDC does. Don't mind them. Okay. Nanaba, I'm always excited when I see Mr. Maliba on your show. He makes me very happy. Mr. Maliba, you're becoming notorious.
For what?
You're developing a glutton for it. Anyway, so these messages, there's a lot more, but I just want us to talk about something else because we'll be ending the show in just a few minutes. Sada, both of you, fortunately, are from
The north.
the north.
The Upper East region, to be precise.
Okay.
The
so
same region. We're coming from that.
You take off.
Well, for me, it's a sad situation, and I think that it's been with us for the last how many years? It's been with us for the last 5 years, you know. And this situation befell us when no less a person, but the president who comes from the north, where this whole thing, which when we said we were setting up, if Ghanaians
Northern
gave us
Development
fun, if
Authority.
Ghanaians gave us the opportunity to run the affairs of this country, and then it was said that if our presidential candidate had anything to do, he should use that money to go and offset VRA debt. Today, as we speak, the VRA debt has not been paid. It is even rather accumulating more. A couple of weeks ago, the former VRA boss, Awachi, spoke to this issue. Today, we look at SADA, and it's a sad situation. When President
Sada
John
is
Mahama,
sad.
when
I had to.
he
So
took
that
center
is-
stage in allowing certain things to happen, I was one of the first critics. And I remember on a show on TV3 with Ben Epson and Murtala Mohammed, when I said that the tree planting they were doing was wrong. And I said this based on an experience I have. My father happens to own the biggest cashew plantation in the Upper East region. And when the first seedlings were planted, I was there. The research that we had to do with the Manga Agric research, and then other ones in Zebila and Timpani, they told us when to plant seedlings. And we followed that. I raised the objection because of the timing. There is no way you would put any seedling in the northern part of Ghana after July and it would survive. Then when President Mill passed and John Mahama became the president, after that was when he held that policy forum or whatever it is, if you guys recall. And that is when all these things were put in place, SADA, JIDA and all that, and monies were put in there. And they went and said they were going into tree planting. Today, I watched one of your young communicators who lied that the trees have survived and that UDS has even done a story on that. Quickly, I went to my archives and then pulled a Joy FM documentary that was done with UDS, Professor Miller, to be precise, talking about what was wrong with that whole project. And I'm wondering why people think that, like the president said, Ghanaians have a short memory. Some of us don't have that disease. I don't have. And I would always refer, coming from the north, to have seen the amount of money that has been sunk in there and nothing has come to improve the situation of our people. Then we sit there and say, we have a north-south divide. Today we have a northerner as a president, and he has presided in all this rot that has taken place with regards to SADA.
Well, he's not the president for the North. He's the president for Ghana.
Absolutely, but I'm saying that he comes from a place where he knows the situation better than any other person who would have been coming from the South. So for SADA, it is something that we will hang on the neck of John Mahama till that kingdom come. He can never run away from it. Because he took center stage, he made all these things happen, and that is where we have found ourselves in this situation. That we can have SADA officials make trips with all these colossal amounts that are quoted. Why? Did they go with a chartered flight?
Over 180,000.
I mean, some of these things, when it happens and you look at some of us, including you, Amalba here, who have traveling experience, what kind of hotels did they sleep in? Were they sleeping in the Biltmore? I don't know of the Biltmore in
Turkey.
In Turkey.
No.
I don't know of that in Turkey.
Okay.
These are hotels in places like the United States where there are tourist sites where people go and then just want to look at that hotel. Where if you go and then you ask of a night in that hotel, it's something else. Did they sleep in such hotels? What did they go to do in Turkey that they had to spend that amount?
But they know all of this. That is why
I know. And then,
SADA is being rebranded.
Well,
there's a new board.
No, but me, the worry is that we can't allow these things to be happening in this part of our world, where we don't have, and when we have the little, we have people dissipating as if there is nothing wrong. And as we speak, all these things have happened for how many years now? Not one single person has been put out there. It is only that we have them going to court, and as it is even going on, I can see the case fizzling out. Something has just happened, and I know that case is going to fizzle out.
Okay.
So as for SADA, nobody has been put anywhere.
All
and these people who have done these things are in this country.
Okay, we have
the
just a
president
few
is shielding
minutes more.
corruption.
We'll give it to
And when
Mr.
you talk, people
Maliba.
think that you are targeting him. President Mahama needs to move away from this situation and then let us see action.
Mr. Maliba,
Yes.
over to you.
On this SADA issue, I must say that individuals who have shortchanged this country must be held accountable. Individuals who have dissipated resources belonging to the SADA region must be made to account for it. That is not negotiable. And so, if the Public Accounts Committee is minded, would want to invite Gilbert Eddy, who was then the Chief Executive of SADA, to appear before them and respond to this Turkey trip issue, because he's the only one who can address it. Charles Abure, who is the current Chief Executive, will not be in a better position to explain it. So if PAC are interested in getting to the bottom of this matter, I think they should throw an invite to Gilbert Edie. But the president, knowing that some individuals who were supposed to manage the activities of SADA have disappointed him, quickly did what you were alluding to. Change the board, also change the chief executive, and the rot that you are talking about today is not emanating from the current SADA that we know about.
But
these are rots, yeah, the old ones.
So, but what has happened?
So
Does it matter?
it
Well,
matters
it
because
does,
you have
because
to
you've moved on.
They are moving on. It matters. It
Why?
matters.
But then he
He's
wants to
dealing
see
with the matter.
action.
Absolutely. Why I'm asking
So
if
it
it matters
matters.
is that these board
matters.
members you are
Okay.
talking about, board chairmen who were paying monies into their banks and all those
Which
things.
board
They are-
members?
they are- your
I
board
said there's a
your-
new
your board chairman. What
management.
didn't he do?
Okay.
There's a new
No, what did he
management.
do?
I don't know
What
if
have we done
anyone-
with
Are
the-
you
Who has done
alleging the
anything?
current board is doing that?
I'm
No,
saying
he's
the
not
former
saying-
board chairman.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I mean, these people must
But
be
what did I
punished.
just say?
All right.
We need to
I
retrieve
just
the
said
money.
that individuals
He
must
said
be
individuals
held
must be
accountable.
accountable. Well, he said that.
I said that.
Yeah.
I said that. I'm
He's
not like
alluded
you
to that fact.
who would massage the truth.
Okay.
I have said the truth. I have said that.
All right.
People
When-
must be
when
held
the president is
accountable.
shielding-
And
when
I
he's
even
shielding
and I
people who
even
are corrupt in
and
his
I
government-
even
No,
prescribed
when he's
that.
shielding people
I
who are
even
corrupt in his
prescribed that.
government,
Gilbert
I'm
Edie
wondering
should be
whether if
invited
he
to
has-
Parliament
if he has
Okay.
to answer.
what it takes to be able
All
to
right,
get
thank you.
everybody and retrieve our money.
But
It's 8:50,
I'm wondering.
unfortunately.
But as it is now,
Mr. Maliba, you have the last word.
is ready to go. SADA, the current SADA, is not neck deep in some of these activities. The current SADA has come about with a blueprint.
Okay.
The current SADA has come out with a blueprint.
Okay,
and
thank
the
you.
North is going to see
But
some improvement in terms of the
Mr.
SADA
Maliba, we are happy
activities.
that the new SADA has a blueprint because we all want to see some advancement, some development in the 3 northern regions. But then again, people are asking questions. The former SADA, if really and truly they embezzled funds, as people suggest, what has happened to them?
And
You've said it. You've made a very
Yes.
important, but that people should be held accountable.
Yes.
That is what people want to see as well.
Yes, so the steps are being taken.
So that if
now
the president says he's fighting corruption, then we know that indeed he
now
is fighting
you have the Auditor General's report coming out.
Yeah.
That can be a base upon which
We've
prosecution
seen
can
so
start.
many of those
So
from
you
the
want to
Public
tell me
Accounts
beyond-
Committee and
I mean,
nothing.
before
Oh yes, if there's no,
You
you
didn't
must
know?
build a dossier.
Okay.
You don't just go to
Thank
court.
you very
You
much.
didn't know. But if I know,
guys-
even if I know,
You spent
Thank
time
you.
chasing
If-
all of us.
if-
Me,
even
they
if I
went
know,
to- look, your
so
people
they should
went
come and
to
hold your
invest-
neck
they
and
came-
send it
went
to court.
investigate
So
me,
it's
putting
over.
all this in place.
So
Just be
it's
small
over.
DC because I was talking.
Emmanuel Asigri, former DC for Garu Timpani district.
Got it right.
And I
You
got
are-
it right.
you are a
right?
small DC.
I know.
That he was a small DC.
He wasn't a small DC.
And that
a member of the
we're
NPP
chasing him.
communications. Chasing who?
With audits,
He said
all
audit.
those.
And
But if you
Mr.
are a small-
Maliba,
you- you
a
are
member of the
even
NDC
maize.
legal
If
team.
you are a
We'll
small
see you
DC
tomorrow.
and you are allowed to chop big
Have a good
money,
night.
they will-
You were auditing me.
But he hasn't chopped money.